The official story labels the intervention for Kurt Cobain right before his death as a gathering of concerned friends and family worried about his addiction. But look at the guest list. It tells a completely different story. This was a corporate containment operation designed to manage an asset. In that room, Kurt was surrounded by industry figures whose bottom line depended on his compliance, not his health. Conspicuously absent were his bandmates Dave Grohl and Krist Novoselic, his mom, his family members, his grandfather. The people who actually understood him were shut out, leaving him with a room full of people deeply enmeshed in his finances and his vices. Consider who actually controlled that room. First, there was Danny Goldberg, Kurt's manager and a powerful industry executive. His entire professional trajectory was tied to the commercial success of Nirvana. Then you had Gary Gersh, the man who signed the band and held the reins of the label, ensuring the investment remained protected and profitable. Burt Cates was there, an A&R representative with a daily direct financial stake in the band's productivity. Pat Smear, obviously a member of Nirvana, who was, clearly deeply embedded in the band, and at the time was himself struggling with a serious alcohol dependency. Dylan Carlson was present, a man whose own life was often dependent on Kurt's resources and who was struggling with his own substance issues at that moment, even providing drugs to Kurt. Luke Woods was there, a publicist whose role was to ensure the commercial viability of the product. And finally, Courtney Love, who set the terms and managed access to Kurt's inner circle. This room was a paradox, a collection of active users and heavy drinkers, including Pat Smear, and others fighting their own demons, pressuring Kurt to get clean while they lived off his bank account. By separating Kurt from his real creative lifeline and surrounding him with only those financially and personally tied to his success, they didn't really set up an intervention that would work. Courtney Love said in Tom Grant Calls that Krist Novoselic was concerned that this would, come off as a bunch of people pressuring him to quit drugs who are themselves on drugs, and that he would just get pissed off and run out of the room, which is precisely what happened, which is supposedly why he didn't go. They weren't there to save Kurt, it was to secure an investment. Researchers who believe that a full, thorough investigation into Kurt Cobain's suspicious death should take place must start by following the money. The financial benefits surrounding his death are massive, and this room, filled with the very people who manage his career and cash flow, and not full of the people who knew that this wouldn't work because they actually know Kurt, may hold a bit of a definitive starting point for uncovering the truth and maybe looking into some of the potential monetary incentives that could have encouraged someone to want to participate in the conspiracy to kill Kurt Cobain. What do you guys think? Should they reopen the Kurt Cobain death investigation?